What's going on YouTube? Chase here on Aftershock Videos, and today we have a really kind of throwbacky deck, and I think this is really cool because somebody had asked me. I have yet to see a Mekk-Knight deck really being played on here in a long time. I had been requested to showcase what Mekk-Knights do and what they're capable of, and just kind of what can you do with them. So right here I have a deck list of strictly Mekk-Knight stuff, but I also had to throw in a couple power cards just to kind of make it a little bit better than just strictly Mekk-Knight cards. So we're just gonna go ahead and run through this. I have another deck lined up for you guys too. So here's the first one. This is my pure Mekk-Knight deck. This is 40 cards and just the extra deck Mekk-Knight monsters. So first we have two Mekk-Knight Avrams. We have a Beckoned by the World Chalice, Chosen by the World Chalice, and Crowned by the World Chalice. Now these are just some vanilla monsters that you can normal summon just to kind of get some presence on the board and kind of set up your columns. Now most of these Mekk-Knights can be special summoned from your hand if there is two or more cards in a column. So that is pretty good considering they are all very high level and very powerful as far as attack and defense go, and they each have their own specific effect. Like for example, we have Mekk-Knight Purple Nightfall here. We are running 3 of these in the pures. This one says, quick effect, you can target one Mekk-Knight monster you control. Banish it until the standby phase of your next turn, and if you do, add one Mekk-Knight monster from your deck to your hand except itself. And then we have 2 Mekk-Knight Indigo Eclipses. This one says, once per turn, quick effect, you can target one Mekk-Knight monster you control, move that monster you control to another of your main monster zones. So this one helps play into your column. So if there's 2 columns that you have already special summoned Mekk-Knights to, you can use Mekk-Knight Indigo's effect to move over, so you could move one monster over, so you could special summon another. So that one is pretty good. Next we have 2 Mekk-Knight Red Moons. This one says you can banish one Mekk-Knight monster from your graveyard, then target one face-up monster in this card's column and destroy it. So this one kind of has built-in destruction. Then we have 2 Mekk-Knight Yellow Stars. This one says you can banish one Mekk-Knight monster from your graveyard, then target one spell or trap in this card's column and destroy it. So this one's got a little bit of back row removal. Next we have 2 Mekk-Knight Green Horizons. This one says you can, when an attack is declared involving this card and an opponent's monster in this card's column, you can target one Mekk-Knight monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So a little bit of a reborn, or kind of adds to your hand, but either way that one does that. Next we have 2 Mekk-Knight Orange Sunsets. This one says that if an opponent's card in this card's column is destroyed by battle or leaves the field, you can special summon one Mekk-Knight monster from your hand. So this one is pretty good. Next we have, which I think is one of the best ones, is Mekk-Knight Blue Sky. This one says if this card is normal or special summoned from the hand, you can add Mekk-Knight monsters with different names except itself from your deck to your hand, equal to the number of opponent's cards in this card's column. So this one is its own built-in rota, so that one is really good. And then lastly for the monsters, we have Girsu, the Orcus Mekk-Knight. This one says if this card is normal or special summon, you could send one Orcus or World Legacy card from your deck to your graveyard. Then if there are 2 or more other cards in this card's column, treat this card as a tuner this turn. So this one turns into a level 4 tuner, and then also kind of dumps a World Chalice or Orcus. Then it says if you control no monsters, you could special summon one World Legacy token to both players' fields in defense position. So that, again, that helps you play into the number of cards in each column. So that'll do it for the monsters. Next we have our spell cards. We have 1 Raigeki, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 Monster Reborn. Next we have 3 World Legacy Memories. This is a quick play spell, and this says special summon 1 Mekk-Knight monster from your hand or deck in defense position. That is already really strong right there, but return it to the hand during the end phase. So this kind of helps go into your link plays. Then this says for the rest of this turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except Mekk-Knight monsters, which works perfectly because this is what we're doing. Next we have 3 World Legacy Keys. This is a continuous spell. It says when this card is activated, you can target one of your banished Mekk-Knight monsters or World Legacy cards, add it to your hand. Negate any opponent's trap effects that resolve in the same column as a Mekk-Knight monster you control. So that is really good. And considering Mekk-Knight Purple Fall banishes, it returns it to your hand with that spell. So that's pretty good. Next we have 2 field spells, World Legacy Scars. This one says all Mekk-Knight monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense, which you wouldn't think they're already big enough. Once per turn, you can discard one Mekk-Knight monster or one World Legacy card, draw one card, so you get a draw off of that. Then it goes on to say you can banish 8 Mekk-Knight monsters with different names from your graveyard or face up in your field. Send your opponent's entire hand and extra deck to your graveyard. So if you have stuff in your graveyard, because it says and or, so it doesn't specifically mean on the field or just in the graveyard. It means both. So send your opponent's entire hand and extra deck to the graveyard. That is pretty strong. Next, we have 3 World Legacy Whisperers. It's a continuous trap. It says, when this card is activated, you can target 1 level 5 or higher monster on the field. It gains 1,000 attack and defense until the end of this turn, which is really good. Then it says, negate any opponent's spell effects that resolve in this same column as a Mekk-Knight monster you control. So that is really good. Next, we have 3 World Legacy Secrets. This says, when this card is activated, you can target 1 level 5 or higher monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So this is another monster reborn, basically. Then it says, when this card leaves the field, destroy that monster, negate any opponent's monster effects that would resolve in the same column as the Mekk-Knight monster you control. So you kind of see how each card has their own built-in protection, one for spells, traps, and monster effects. Then, of course, we just threw in a Solemn Judgment just because. And then next, we have the extra deck, and we have 3 Mekk-Knight of the Morning Star. This is a Link 2, 2000 attack. It needs 2 monsters, including a Mech monster. That says, if this card is Link summoned, you can discard 1 Mekk-Knight monster or 1 World Legacy card. Add 1 World Legacy card from your deck to your hand. So this will search your spells and traps. This says, if your Mekk-Knight monster battles a monster in a different column than it, your monster cannot be destroyed by that battle. Also, you take no battle damage from that battle. Next, we have 3 Mekk-Knight Spectrum Supremes. This says this card can attack directly if it is the only card in its column. And that's pretty good considering it's got 3k attack. This says if this card in the extra monster zone points to no monsters, it cannot be destroyed by card effects. Also, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. That is really strong. This says you could send 1 other card you control in this card's column to the graveyard, special summon 1 Mekk-Knight monster from your deck in defense position. So, if this card attacks directly, and then let's just say your opponent sets something in the extra monster zone column, then you can send 1 other card in this card's column. So if you normal summon, sack it off, and then special summon a stronger Mekk-Knight monster from your deck. I mean, that just seems pretty good to me. And then lastly, we have 3 Mekk-Knight Crusadia Abramax. Everybody knows this one. This is a Link 4, 3k attack. It says, while this Link card is on the field, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Also, their monsters cannot target monsters for effects except this one. Once per battle during damage calculation, if this card battles a special summon monster, quick effect, you can make this card gain attack equal to that opponent's monster during that damage calculation only. So it boosts up every time it attacks a monster. So basically, it makes it impossible to battle over. And then it says you cannot target this card with card effects, and it's a very problematic card to get over. So this says if this Link summon card you control is sent to your graveyard by your opponent, you can shuffle 1 card on the field back to the deck. So even when it leaves the field, it is a pain in the butt. Alright guys, so that'll do it for the pure Mekk-Knight decks. Now let's see what we can turn this into for Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright, so here we have what I would call the full power Mekk-Knights. This is just my take on it, so don't take anything personal if you run a different deck or anything else. But this is what I came up with. This is what I think has the best stuff, most playable, and consistency. We have, of course, the 2 Mekk-Knight Avrams, a Nibiru, just in case we draw it in turn 1. It's not super reliant. Even when I play 3, I almost never see it, so no point in using, the extra card space. We got the Purple Nightfall, the Indigo, Red Moon, Yellow Star, Green Horizon, and then of course we have the Dasher, Celestial, Fusion Destiny, and the Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. Then we have running a little bit of a Invoked engine. We got the Alistair, we got the Invoked, and then we have Mekaba and Kaliga. We got, of course, 2 Ashes for Interruption, same with 2 Effect Failures. We got the Raigeki, Harpy's Feather Duster, Triple Tactics, Monster Reborn, MST, Forbidden Droplet. We got the 3 World Legacy Memories, the World Legacy Key, World Legacy Scars. We got 2 Imperms, 2 Ice Dragon's Prison, a Bottomless Trap Hole, and 2 World Legacy Secrets. So there's really not too much of a difference in this one. It's just slightly less Mekk-Knight stuff and more of the competitive playable cards that we see nowadays. So let's go into the extra deck. That's completely different, obviously, than the other one. We got the Predaplane Anaconda, obviously, to help get our Invocation or our Fusion Destiny. Nightmare Phoenix for more back row removal. Got the Morning Star. We have Nightmare Unicorn, the Spectrum. We got Avramax in here. And we have this new card, which we have just gotten out of Ghost of the Past, the second Haunting. This is Boral End Dragon. Now, this is a Link 5 with 3,500 attack, so it is a lot of commitment, but this card could be a problem. It says, takes 3+ effect monsters, cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also, neither player can target this card with monster effects. Then it says this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Quick effect, you can target one effect monster on the field and one rocket monster in your graveyard, which this part isn't too relevant because we're not playing a rocket deck. So your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. So this thing is huge, and I'd say it's almost on par with Dragoon and DPE. So I will gladly put this in here. The next, since we have a few level 8s, it is possible to do the Draglubion trick with the Numeron Dragon and a Harbinger. We got Zeus. Since we do have one level 4 tuner, we go with the Gearsu, and possibly normal summoning the Avram too. If they survives, you can go into the Draco Berserker of Tenyu, which is really good. And of course, we got the 2 Invokes and the DP himself. Alright guys, so that'll do it for these Mekk-Knight deck lists. I hope you guys find these informative or at least entertaining. But I do have some games lined up for you guys, so you can check out what the Mekk-Knights are capable of and what we can do with them nowadays. So I hope you guys really enjoy it. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It means a ton to me. Let me know what you guys think of this down below in the comments. What would you do differently? What would you take out? I'm sure everybody else who's checking out the Mekk-Knights would love to hear other people's opinions on them. And if you have any other deck lists or archetypes you guys want me to try out and kind of showcase, let me know down below as always. Don't forget to check out my merch store. Got all kinds of cool stuff on there. And also don't forget to give me a follow on Instagram. And if you find my channel helpful or at least entertaining, consider supporting me on Patreon. So I will leave the information for everything in the description as always. And thank you guys again so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the video. Later.